stranger, 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 stranger.
I'm already high enough.
Hey there, if you are an entrepreneur, this must be the place or a community for you to join and also learn how to scale your business. Come with me to the 7-figure luncheon club at the country club here in Orange County and meet the other entrepreneurs.
Hello.
Watch out, trouble's here now.
Good to
What's up,
see
Rockstar?
you.
How are you? Good to see you. Oh, you're welcome. Just sign in over there and then come sit down.
Give a thundering welcome to Bill Wall.
All right, thank you. Now today, my conversation today is a little different than most of the talks that I hear for Franklin Covey. And we created a product called Successfolio. It was a business in a box. So we gave you a website, got you organized, gave you a business plan, and a merchant accountant said, go get them. And people thought we were crazy, but I knew there was a big gap in the marketplace that most businesses fail. And usually where they were lacking was in process and systems and team building. And so I figured if we could create a product to help with that, it'd probably be a home run. And within 20 months, we were in 20 countries. So when people laugh at you or they say things can't work or don't work, you're probably on the right track if they think you're nuts. 2005, we launched an incubator course called Rainmaker. And the idea was everything I learned the 15 years before in fixing business, I said, why not put it into a weekend program? And then the ones we liked, we could either invest in or take a piece of the business and focus on vision, mission, path, purpose, plan, helps with team building, write your books, write your grants, work on your public speaking, teach people how to get paid as a public speaker. And we charge them $5,000, to come for the weekend, and we run it multiple times throughout the year. And that was launched 20 years ago. We still teach the same course today in cities around the US and now in Dubai and London. And launched a venture fund in 2007 to begin funding some of these ideas. 2008 masterminds, and then of course after that I became the main sponsor for an event called the Small Business Expo, and we went from 2 cities to 20 cities and over 100,000 attendees a year. Same thing, people said that was a stupid idea, nobody goes to expos. Well, once again, if they tell you it's a horrible idea and your gut says it's the way to go, it's probably the right way to go. Now we're doing TV networks, right? We launched a new platform called GBN, which is, I think everybody here should have a TV show. These how-to videos have gone viral like crazy. I have a student right now that has 600,000 subscribers. He's a plumber. He now makes over $1 million a year from his plumbing videos. I know it sounds crazy, but he's an influencer now that never does any plumbing anymore. And all he does is create videos on tips on how to do your plumbing. And everything that you think is normal is not. It's all changed. And so the idea of today was that get together a small group and talk about a few things: life, business, politics, and give back. And those aren't always popular things to talk about, but I'm at a point in my life that I can once again do what I want to do, and I love the idea of putting together collectives or groups where everybody can win. How do we create the opportunity to give people that really want to play full out a different vantage point of the universe? And I'll start by just kind of showing you a couple things that are kind of cool. All the deals I've ever done and the people I've had the honor to work with, for a kid from the south side of Chicago that didn't come from a whole lot of money. My parents both worked day jobs. Most important thing ever is family. I have 3 of the most amazing kids, 32, 30, and 26. My oldest son runs a SaaS company called Mobex Pro, which is scheduled to maybe go public later this year. My daughter she's a PA in dermatology with Western Hospital. And my youngest son, Evan, you can see with the long hair, he's a DJ in Vegas. So if you ever come to Vegas and you want to party, he's definitely got that part down to a science. But to be able to host President Trump, or to be able to work directly with someone like RFK Jr., or to speak in front of thousands of people, I can tell you that it really is a blessing and an honor. But I will tell you that in life, the one thing I did that really changed the whole game is that I didn't know who Drake was. I really didn't know who Offset was, or Migos, or certainly didn't know who Travis Scott was. But when my kids were younger, I began to go to all these concerts. I began to go to all these festivals. And at the time I thought it was nuts, but I was more concerned about my kids. But I'll tell you, the greatest thing that came out of that is that I began to like the music. And I began to get quality time with my kids. And They say once your kids are about 14 to 15 years old, you've spent 70% of the time you're ever going to spend with them. So I wanted to contradict that and figured out that if I could always get the best concert tickets, and I can get the backstage passes, or I can get the things that made it, then we'd become even closer, at least for 3 or 4 weekends a year. And it's been an ongoing scheme. So I would tell you, if you're adults and you have kids or you're parents, and do the things your kids like to do, even if you don't like to do them. And you'll learn a lot about yourself, and you'll also get quality time with your kids that you can never, ever get back. We just came back from Austria. We were in Vienna, going over to see Travis Scott and Don Toliver. Amazing trip. But I think all the money things you always hear about are great, but I would tell you that we built almost all of our companies around family, faith, and fun. So start with family, faith, and fun, and figure out your whole year in advance, and the rest will kind of take care of itself. But we created a collective called 7 Figure, where we bring in the best of business training, we bring in the best of digital marketing, AI conferences and connections, partnerships, as well as helping people monetize their voice. How do you take what you're really great at and get paid for it for the first time? I believe everyone has a story, and if you're at a certain level of business, you should be telling that story and get paid for it. And if you don't, shame on you. The other thing that I think when it comes to the business side, the big thing that I think has hurt so many entrepreneurs is the word access. If there's one thing I tell you guys, write in your notepad today, write down the word access, and that you belong in every room. And if you don't have access to the right rooms, you're missing out. If there's one of the gifts I learned from a top business coach that I've worked with for a long time and learned from was, everyone belongs in the room, but it's how you have the communication with the right folks in the room that makes all the difference. It's one thing that you know someone's name, it's more important they know your name. And these are the things, these skill sets that they don't ever teach these kids at all today. But I figured out that if there was a way to create a collective where we could do deals together. Imagine a club or a group that's focused on life, it's focused on business, it's focused on deal flow, right? And it's also focused on give back. So all the things we talk about are great, but it's also, are you getting connected to the right groups? So I figured out this too, that if you want to connect with the right people, you get yourself out to charitable events. You find out who runs the best charities with the right people, and you're there once a month or once a quarter. And the more you put yourself in the right room, the better opportunity you have to win. And this is what we figured out as a group too, is that don't ever go by yourself, go as a group. If you'll go get a whole table and you don't talk about yourself, you talk about everyone else that's at the table. And you're gonna find that you don't go to the charity event to go to the red carpet, you go there to go early and set up the chairs. You go there to help with the red carpet, you go there to help with the breakdown, and you go there to bid on the things they're offering. And your job is to go connect with leaders at every table and not talk about yourself, but talk about some of the folks you're with. So if I'm here with Art, let me tell you what Art's got going on. Come over and meet Art. Well, now all of a sudden, Art has the chance to connect, because the minute you start talking about yourself, people don't care. Does that make sense? They tune out. But if you're at a charitable event talking about someone else, it can open up that connection. It's not just the follow-up, it's really about the follow-through. The difference between the successful entrepreneurs, the ones that have some success, the really successful ones, they follow through. If they say they'll call, they'll call. If they say, I'll have a check here on Tuesday, the check's there on Tuesday. If they say they're going to make an introduction, they make the introduction. And the challenge for a lot of entrepreneurs is they do a lot of talking, but they don't do the follow through. So I created this idea of 7 Figure Club around some of these principles that whatever you say you're gonna do it. You don't gotta do anything less or anything more, just whatever you offer, just deliver it. And I figured out that if I could have a conversation with somebody about what their business is or what they're working on, can I help them open up connections where we can both create big wins together? And I think so often in life, when you join different courses and programs, that most businesses never get the level of having a board of advisors or a board of directors. And so we figured out since 2008, we've launched a group called WIN Global. It's our WIN group. And we meet twice a year, except you're the speaker. Now you're the speaker and you're the speaker. And you talk about what you're working on. And you got to speak to the whole group. And the whole group gives you feedback. And yes, once at the Atlantis in the Bahamas, once here in Vegas at Resorts World. And in the Bahamas, we had you speak to the Prime Minister. So imagine the president of the country's there, and your job is to figure out how can you help his country. And that's a different conversation than most of these events. Most of these events are, you go there and you sit in your chair for the weekend for 12, 10 hours a day and hopefully you learn something, right? When we put together the Win Group, let's go have some fun together. Let's go to the Atlantis, work for 4 hours a day, and the rest is all called social engagement. So whether it's concerts, we've had meet and greets with Alicia Keys, we've had things that you never ever do probably as a collective or a group, and then of course it's hardcore business for the 4 hours. But it's also bring your family, it's bring your kids, right? Make it so that while you're there at these fabulous resorts, you get to enjoy some of the time. And so we built a model that said, let's give you access to the best business training for you and 10 of your people, best digital conferences twice a year. The one coming up in Nevada, we've scheduled to have the founder of Sun Microsystems. I mean, he had an exit for $7.5 billion, to have him on stage and speak to the group. That's a different type of conference, right? But when you get to the board level conferences, I believe that most entrepreneurs need a board of advisors. I think to try to do this game of business all by yourself, it's not that easy. It's easy to do a couple 100,000, maybe even $1 million, but to go from $1 million to 10 or 10 to 50, it's a different set of questions, I promise you. And you're gonna have different sets of challenges. And most CEOs have nobody to talk to. Most entrepreneurs, they wind up trying to communicate with their spouse or some of their family or business partners, and sometimes their family thinks they're nuts. They're always, you're doing what? You're crazy. Until you have a lot of success, then, oh God, that's such a great idea. We knew you'd win. And so that was the premise of this group. But really, it was about opening up the connections to figure out, here's where the business is at, where there's a one-on-one conversation. Here's where I'd like to take the business to. Or it could be the flip side, that I've already done all this stuff. Now I want to give back. I want to write books. I want to speak. I want to do more philanthropic work, right? When I talked to Scott, he's like, well, I'm pretty much past whatever I'm going to do. He said, but for me, it's my kids. My legacy's done. I've had a $7 billion exit, and I've had all these things, and I still love the game of business, but I'm just not that hungry anymore. So he spends probably half his year in Colorado and half the year in Vegas. But it's fun to learn from individuals that have gotten to that point, because you don't get a lot of time with people that had $1 billion plus exits. I'm blessed I get to coach a client in Vegas that his last exit was $2.5 billion, right? He cleared $1 billion, and he's still the most humble guy in the room. Do you know what I'm saying? And the funny thing is, but he still has that same fire for deals and entrepreneurship that he did when he didn't have all that money. And that's the thing that if we could, as we're building this collective out, that we can come together and work on these things at least twice a year. And then the other part that I felt was missing for entrepreneurs was the social aspect. So in addition to all the things we've talked about, the business, the board of advisors, the events, the connections, is why not create fun? Why not create some events monthly that are really fun for entrepreneurs to be a part of, and also business and politics. I'm very concerned about the future of our country. So I don't care if you're a Democrat, love you. I don't care if you're a Republican, love you. At the end of the day, we're Americans. And we have to be prepared for whatever is going to come down the pike. And I do think that it's important, number one, that we all vote. Number two, that we make sure that the truth is being told on both sides. I really do think that in the news world today, there has to be something that says this is sponsored news. This is not real news. And I think people they watch it on TV and they think it comes, down from heaven. If it's on TV, it must be true. Mm-hmm. And that's a belief system a lot of people have. And there's a saying that if you tell a lie long enough, it becomes the truth. And I see this on both sides of politics. I've been honored to spend time with Robert F. Kennedy and learn about a lot of things, as well as Trump. We hosted Tucker Carlson last November. We've got a huge conference coming up around the Formula One event again. But the idea is that we've got to be in the right political rooms too. And so at this level of club, I'm going to do my best part to make sure that this group can get an audience with some of the biggest political leaders in the world. Because if you're not involved with the lobbyist format and the idea of getting in front of the right people, I truly believe that small business makes America great. I believe that franchising makes America great. Process has made America great. And if we don't get to the to the voting line, the voting dollars, to make sure that our voice is heard as small business, they're going to be wiped out. You're not going to be able to compete with some of these other brands, and so those are the things as a collective, and that's why I call Seven Figure Club a collective, that we can have a whole lot more power if we're staying, kind of true to form. That who's going to run the SBA? How do we get time with those guys? How do we begin to level up the game so that the group that we work with has the best chance to win? And winning is not always just about the dollars and cents you made, but it's a difference that we made together. And I will tell you that the social events we have planned, if you guys are interested at all, we are going to host an event at Mar-a-Lago, October 23rd. So we're going to bring the Seven Figure Club members down there. And I will tell you that you will meet with some very, very powerful people. But if you're not in those circles, I'm not sure how you really be able to really ramp at the pace you want to ramp at. And so if we feel that we can create a win together, we'll have a conversation first. Membership's $55,000 for the year, and we take a percentage of deal flow. So if I open a door for you and it becomes new business, we'll create a revenue share model, and you pay us for it. And if we think collectively we can make a big win together, then it's great to apply. Do you know what I mean? If we don't think there's a big win together, then we part as friends and figure out some other ways we can work together. But I do know that if the right people have the right access to the right groups, magic will happen. And the challenge for most individuals is they don't know how to get in the right doors. And if they did, they'd already be there. And on the political side, it's our country, and small business is not represented very well. I think probably the SBA funding is like $75 million a year. It's a joke. It's a joke for the amount of money that flows through that. But it also means that, we have to be able to figure out ways, even like with governments, that how do we combine the small business wraparounds when business moves or when big business moves in. And this is where, if you're not tuned in today, I will tell you that if you look at the amount of money that is flowing through government contracts right now, if you look at the amount of money that is flowing through opportunity zones right now, we want to make sure that you don't miss any of this stuff. And if you think you can do this all yourself, it's almost impossible. There's so much to keep up on. There's so many things to look at, and most entrepreneurs are too busy in their day-to-day. So we put together a bundle that includes the Rainmaker program for the year for you and up to 10 of your people, the digital marketing program for you and 10, the Icon speaker for you plus 9, basically 10 total, 2 win events a year, 1 fabulous social event per month. So whether it's we had some billionaires in New York that were partnering with Black Tie Magazine at the Black Card Club. So if you have a black card, couldn't get in. So we threw a party there just for a select group to come over. And we try to keep those events smaller, 20 to 40 people usually, something like that. And it's really about the relationships. Now, what I can do is help open the doors, right? It's still your job to what? Follow through. But I'm gonna make sure that on the members that come in, we do some due diligence and figure out what it is they offer. And then we wanna have a lot of fun together. So if you guys like to have fun, and if you haven't done your books yet, let's get your books done. If you have an interest in being in the how-to world, let's help with that. But it's more about what is it you're working on, can we create some ways to win? And if that resonates with you guys, then I'd love to at least have a conversation. There's no signing up. We'll give you a form, you can put your name and your email and your website and your social on there, and then we'll just schedule a call in the next 7 to 10 days and figure out, let's take a half hour, whatever time it is, tell me what you're working on. And then let's figure out, is there a win? And if we know there's a win, then get plugged in. Our next big event is going to be Resorts World. Then we're hosting a Formula One party. All the club members get to go, no charge. So we've got an amazing Formula One party, with a watch party, and then a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday conference. Last year we had Tucker, we had RFK Jr., we had Ben Mala. We'll have Charles Payne this year. We've got some other incredible celebrities coming out for that event in Vegas. In October, we're going to do the event down at Trump's house at Mar-a-Lago, in case you guys have never been there. It's a fabulous facility to come down. You'll meet some former governors, some other very powerful folks. And of course, it's the network that's in those rooms. But every month we'll have one, what I call super cool social business event that the club member themselves is invited to attend, you know, and you come as our guest. Now, of course, you don't get to go on a private jet, you don't get to go, you gotta get your own stuff to get there. Does that make sense? But we've made this pretty outstanding. And then of course, we just wanna make sure that if we make the doors or open the doors for you guys and it turns into revenue, then you send us a check. We don't want people forgetting. Some people, they get amnesia. You know, it's amazing how, it just amazes me that we can open up the business doors and all of a sudden they forget how they got there, right? And but these are the things that I'm a big believer in, is that family, faith, and fun. Let's make a difference. Let's get after it. If you guys want, you can take a picture of this next slide. Yeah, and then the Resorts World event, guys, is in November.
Alright guys, so you hear about good stuff for the 7-figure clubs. That's maybe way too much for you when you're starting out. So I highly recommend it to actually connect with me, and I would like to actually invite you to a small luncheons, and you actually can get the feel of like starting point. So if you're just starting or thinking to start a business, well, go to the luncheon first and then start with the Rainmaker. Rainmaker is pretty much, it's like a lower tiers for the memberships, and you can able to actually go to 4 conventions or a conference every few months. So 4 times a year I will be in Dallas, Chicago, Las Vegas, and Orlando. So the location might change every year, but for this time upcoming will be those destinations. And you know, the membership starting point, if you have a team, then technically it will be $5,000 for 5 people. So it's just only $1,000 for each person for 4 times, and you will meet other entrepreneurs to actually exchange the ideas, do business together. If you're actually looking for someone to actually boost your business, looking for a financial support or anything else here, but making sure you have to connect with me, because those are invitation only, and I can actually guide you. Because if you purchase on the link that on the website, they just straight up with one person for $5,000. So if you go, you know, for the upcoming for 5 people, I can team you up, and then you can pay that together. But hopefully connect with me on Instagram or LinkedIn. I will make sure to attach my you know, social and information below for you. But thank you for watching. So this is just my review for the community after I joined. Well, I joined the Rainmaker after I went to the luncheons in Beverly Hills around probably March or April or May. I cannot remember exactly the time, but I went to Chicago for the first time to attend the conventions for almost like a week after another event. And I would say you know, I learned a lot for different perspective and theories about how to start a business, learn about grants, and also marketing, affiliate marketing, partnerships, and anything you can think of to start a business. Even though I already have a business, you know, but if there's always more things to learn and, you know, improve. If you think that you already know everything, it means you know nothing. And at the same time, with the people I met here, they from across the country coming here at the same thing, and we had a chance to actually do a mastermind, how we think and learn about each other business, and also making sure that we can tap into the referral where you share a little bit about your business, you learn about the other business and how you can actually help them to get more leads, and then they will help you to get more leads, as long as they understand about what your business is about. Also, I was able to actually meet someone that really beneficial from my business and bring more clientele and knowledge. So I was really happy that, you know, they have a referral up to $25,000 if I bring clients to them. And I think that is more expanding for my business, you know, because it's helped my client to tap into a better solutions. So that is just a little bit of testimonial that I would like to share with you. That, you know, if you're thinking about joining or don't know yet, or, you know, always a good investment for people surround you. And that is one thing that I learned, and also highly recommend it, because if I stop investing people surround me in the relationship, that is
amount of the money coming in, because not everything is about the transactions. It's about the people you really invest and really know them and build a relationship, so they can actually help you to grow or bring you more revenue or anything you can think of when you do a business. Well, I hope you to take this seriously and put into considerations, and just making sure that you let me know where you're coming from in the comment below. If we have a different luncheons at different state and city, I would love you to